Yo, what's going on, y'all? My name is Alex, and soon enough, voting for the All-Star game will start, and the debates will ensue on who should be on these teams. Trying to figure out who deserves to be an All-Star seems to become harder and harder as the years go by, just because of all the talent in the NBA. However, I'm going to try my best and figure out who should be nominated as All-Stars for the Western Conference. Before we start though, if you guys do end up enjoying this video, make sure you guys like and sub. With that out of the way, let's go. So in case you're not too familiar with how the All-Star voting actually works, the starting 5 for each team will consist of 2 backcourt players and 3 frontcourt players, and for the reserves you vote for another 2 backcourt. You also get 2 wild cards, so that could be backcourt or frontcourt, and then 3 frontcourt players as well. So in total there's going to be 12 players on each team. I figured we could start with the starters for the Western Conference, and I think there's some pretty easy ones to get out of the way. Steph Curry, Luka Doncic, Nikola Jokic, and Anthony Davis I believe are going to be guaranteed starters for the All-Star game because of the counting stats that they put up, and all 4 of these guys are top 10 players in the NBA right now. One thing I do want to say is if you don't think AD deserves the starting spot because of the Lakers' record, while I can understand that, the Western Conference is very close and it's very wide open, so you can win an extra 2 or 3 games and other teams can go on losing streaks and the Lakers would climb up the standing. So because of that, I didn't really consider the records of teams to determine who I think All-Stars will be. That leaves 1 frontcourt spot open for the starters, and there are a couple players that come to mind, but I think I'm going to go with Zion Williamson. Despite a kinda slow start, Zion has been absolutely dominant as of late, averaging 24 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists on 64 true shooting percentage. He has also shown great strides of being a solid defender this season, which is something that the Pelicans absolutely need from him. As I'm recording this, the Pelicans have won 7 games in a row, and have won those games without Brandon Ingram. Even if you don't think Zion should be a starter, his performance after not playing last season has been nothing short of incredible, so he definitely deserves to be an All-Star this season. Surprisingly, his play hasn't been talked about enough, but with the Pels winning streak, the media will have no other choice but to talk about it. Moving on to the reserves, there are some obvious choices which will fill up the 2 backcourt and wildcard spots. This includes Ja Morant, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Devin Booker, and De'Aaron Fox. It really hurts me to not have SGA as a starter because his play is definitely worthy of that starting spot, but it's hard to make it as a starter when Curry and Luka are in your same conference. Same thing applies to Ja as well. He's been playing great despite the injuries to Desmond Bane and Jaren Jackson Jr. For Booker and Fox, these guys have been having the best seasons of their career, and this has led to their teams having great success so far this season as the best players on their respective teams. Now for the hard part. We still have 3 front court spots to fill up, and for me, I'm going to include LeBron, Lauri Markkanen, and Domantas Sabonis. Now LeBron may end up being a starter over Zion just based off fan voting alone, but with how he's played, I don't actually think he deserves the starting spot. Sure, you can look at his counting numbers, and he's still averaging 25 points per game, but his efficiency has fallen off a cliff compared to last season, only having a 54 true shooting percentage, and a large part of this has to do with him just not making his jump shots, especially in the mid-range. Also, shout out to Lauri Markkanen for making the team. He's having a career year averaging 22 points a game on 65% true shooting. He will definitely be in the most improved player conversation because no one saw this coming, but the Jazz have been playing great this season despite them falling down to earth a little bit. Personally for me, those last 3 front court spots were really hard for me because you can look at other players like Andrew Wiggins, who's having a great season. Jeremy Grant for the Blazers has been really good, especially with Dame out, and then you could always choose between one of Gobert or Towns as well for that spot. But even though I said earlier that I didn't really take records into account, at least for those last 3 spots, I did look at it a little bit. I think the worst player from those 3 that I listed may be Domantas Sabonis or Lauri Markkanen, and while some may take Towns or Gobert over them, I just feel that Sabonis, much like De'Aaron Fox and Lauri Markkanen, have just had an incredible season so far, especially on the offensive end, and because of this, it's been an instrumental part in the Kings and the Jazz winning, so to me, they are more deserving for that spot, especially since Towns and Gobert haven't looked great together and hasn't resulted well in their team record. Jeremy Grant is also hard to gauge because the Blazers have played really well, and they've played a majority of their games without Dame as well. But with that said, I just don't think he gets the nod over players who, in my opinion, are just better than him. Well, there you have it. My 5 starters in the Western Conference All-Star game will be Curry, Luka, Zion, AD, and Jokic. And for my West reserves, I have Ja Morant, SGA, LeBron, Lauri Markkanen, Sabonis, Booker, and Fox. Let me know down in the comments below what you guys think. Do you think these choices are on point, or would you change a couple of things? If you enjoyed, make sure you like and sub. Check out my socials down below in the description, and you can check out this video somewhere on the screen where I talk about why the Celtics are the best team in the NBA. Anyways, I'll see you on the next one. Peace.